Okay, so here is another question that requires some careful reading. Jug A contained 3 and 5/12 of a litre of water. Jug A contained 1 and 2/3 of a litre less water than jug B. Jug C contained 5/6 of a litre less water than jug B. The water in the three jugs was poured into a container, and we're asked how much water was there in the container in the end. Okay, so there's a lot going on, and various things are being compared to each other. And we do have to be careful of the language and read very carefully. So we have three jugs. Okay, that much is easy. We've got A, we've got B, and we've got C. And this first bit seems nice and easy. Jug A contained 3 and 5/12 of a litre of water. So I'm going to just draw a sort of pick a bar. There we go. That represents what was in jug A. And we're told that jug A had, and I'm going to put it here, 3 and 5/12 of a litre. I'm not going to put the units in here, but you obviously need to know to pay attention to make sure that they're in your answer. Okay, actually, there's something I noticed, and I hope you noticed the same when we read the question, is that we're dealing with some fractions here, but here we have twelfths, here we have thirds, and here we have sixths. So you should already be thinking, I probably need to change these to equivalent fractions with the same denominator. And we're thinking that because the question is asking us how much water was there in the container in the end. And this is the container into which all of the water was poured into. So we're going to be adding these fractions or some fractions together. And we can't add or subtract fractions unless they have the same denominator. But hopefully you'll also notice that we've got twelfths here, we've got thirds here, we've got sixths here. It's very easy to change thirds and sixths into twelfths. So it's not going to be too difficult. But maybe we should actually do that at first. So we're going to change the fractions into twelfths. So that one's okay. Let's change this. Let's think about this before we even go ahead. That's 1 and 2/3. Okay, so what's let's look at 2/3. We might want to, we could just look at the 2/3 for the moment. What does that equal? That it is 1. And I want to change this denominator to twelfths. Okay, and I think, what do I have to multiply 3 by to get to 12? Well, it's 3 times 4 is 12. I have to multiply the numerator by the same. So 2 times 4 gives us 8. So 1 and 2/3 has the same value, is equivalent to 1 and 8/12. And now I have twelfths here, so that's going to make things much easier. Okay, and the same, let's do this one now. We've got 5/6. Okay, all right, I want to change that to twelfths. What do I have to multiply 6 by to get to 12? Well, I have to multiply that by 2. So I'm going to multiply the numerator by 2 as well. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, so 5/6 is equivalent to 10/12. All right, so I've done that I've noticed these different denominators, and I've also noticed that it seems like I'm having to add things together to get to my answer. So I'm doing that little bit of prep. Okay, so we've got that and we've got that. Okay, let's continue then with our model. All right, so that we're happy that we've captured, that's what's happening with jug A. And we're told that jug A contained 1 and 2/3, or we're going to call it 1 and 8/12. In fact, I could just write it here, couldn't I? So 1 and 8/12 twelfths of a litre less water than jug B. Okay, so A has less than B. So B has more than A. Now, let's show you how I'm going to draw that. And remember, we're always trying to see where we can find equal parts. Now look how I'm drawing a bar that's the same as A. And if this is the same, this must be 3 and 5 twelfths. But we're told that A contained 1 and 8 twelfths of a litre less than B. So B has got 1 and 8 twelfths more than A. Okay, so this is 1 and 8 twelfths. Okay. I think, have we captured that information? And this is something, you'd have to double check. It's really easy to make a mistake if you don't read it carefully enough, and you might have made A the longer one, and you might have thought that A had more. Okay, but I'm pretty happy that we've captured that correctly. And then what's the next one? Jug C. Well, jug C contained 5/6 of a litre less water than jug B. Okay, 5/6. So C has 5/6 less than jug B, which now 5/6 is less than, 5/6 again. Let's, what did we change 5/6 to? 10 twelfths. Okay, I could see if I can fit that in there. 10 twelfths. We can see that, in fact, let's change this 1 and 8 twelfths. We're going to change it from a mixed number to an improper fraction. How many twelfths are in 1? Well, there's 12 twelfths in 1. Okay, 12 plus 8 is 20. So I am actually going to make this 20 twelfths. Okay, that's what this part is worth. Okay. And we're told that jug C contained 10 twelfths less water than jug B. Okay, now this part is 20 twelfths, which means that C also has at least this much, which we know is 3 and 5 twelfths. And it doesn't have 20 twelfths. It has 10 twelfths less than this. So it's got, and in fact, 20 twelfths take away, if we do 20 twelfths and we take away 10 twelfths, okay, we just are taking 10 away from 20, leaves us with 10 twelfths. Okay, so I can see that this has a value of 10 twelfths. Okay, hopefully you're following along. So I think we've captured all of the information. All right, so I've got that. Now it says the water in the 3 jugs is poured into a container. How much water was there in the container? So we have to add all of this together. So our question is, what's all of this all together? So we need to add everything up. Now we could convert 3 and 5 twelfths into an improper fraction, but to be honest with you, I'm not going to bother. I think that's actually just going to make our work harder. What I'm going to do is add, so we've got 3, add 3, add 3, and that gives us 9. So we've got 9 wholes. And then I'm going to add the fractions separately and then add them back to the 9 at the end. Okay, so what have we got? We've got 5 twelfths, add 5 twelfths, add 5 twelfths. Okay, that's all of that taken care of. Then we've got this 20 twelfths here and 10 twelfths here. And we want to know, what does that all add up to? So what have we got? We've got 5, 10, 15, 25, 35, 45. So altogether we have 45 twelfths. Now this, we can see that the top number, the numerator, is bigger than the denominator, which means, well, we call this an improper fraction, but it also means that there are holes within this. We need to change this back, change this to a mixed number. So how many 12s are there in 45? And we have to think about our 12 times table. Well, 4 times 12 would be too much, but 3 times 12 fits in that, and that would give us 36. So we know that there are 3 holes in this, and 36, what's the difference between 36 and 45? Well, that's 9. So we've got 3 holes and 9 twelfths left over. Okay, so here are 3 holes, and remember, we've got the 9 holes here. So 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got, if we add them together, we end up with 12 and 9 twelfths. Now, so that is how much water there was in the container at the end. However, do we think this is a good enough answer? Well, not quite, because when we're dealing with fractions, we usually try to simplify fractions when we can, and we want the smallest possible number as the denominator. So we need to think, what's the biggest number that I could divide into 9 and 12? I need to divide both the top and bottom number by the same number to get an equivalent fraction with a smaller denominator. And hopefully you can see that 9 and 12 are both in the 3 times table. So if I divide, so if I've got 9 twelfths, if I divide 9 by 3 and I divide 12 by 3, I will get 3 fourths, 3 quarters. So my final answer, okay, is going to be, I'm going to remove that. My final answer is going to be 12 and 3 quarters of a litre. Okay. All right. Hopefully there's quite a lot to think about in that. Remember, just, you have to pay attention when you read a question like this. See if you can notice things like having different denominators and that you might have to change them. And being very careful reading to see what's happening. So you might have put this extra amount here, for example. Anyway, hope that helped.